Millenium again. Will we see Coastline again? Maybe.
This is a grudge match. So 4 matches, 3 of them are grudge games. Though, let's take a look at which map we're going to be playing on here, as our bands should be displayed within the few moments here. We'll remind you that Clubhouse and Villa, because this is play day number 1, are removed from the pool. So tomorrow we have the possibility of seeing those 2 maps being played. New Clubhouse is just so good.
I want to see Villa. Outside of the French, we haven't seen that yet. Just
Consulate removed. They don't really want to... well, Consulate and Coastline both removed.
Oregon.
Consulate's a pretty good map for Millenium. Coastline is a good map for both teams, actually. Yeah. Bank removed, which is pretty okay for both at the same time. They have some pretty deep map pools. That's for sure.
That Millenium was the one to ban Coastline after winning that last time, but obviously they feel they showed too much.
May I remind you of the running around in the loft trying
the
to
conga
find,
line.
Trying to find the diffuser.
There was that moment. Yeah, that's true.
There you go. We'll get a second Oregon here today, which means that every single map that you saw today played by EU cannot be played tomorrow.
Yep. So that means Oregon and Border will be somewhat off the board. That we'll see a bit more variety, Bank as well. But if it happens to be the same map that the other team played, in this case, no one played the same map, so we should not see any random maps get banned off tomorrow. So that should be interesting. That you pretty much know the 4 maps that are going to be out now. All
right. Well, those are the bans. We know which map we're going to play on. Gotta head into it. But before that, I want to see what people actually think about this matchup, because so far I think IDK being very much favored by overall viewership. They're pretty okay voting on there. Penta being favored very much so. Supremacy only having 13% of the vote, probably all French.
Yeah,
that was something to be expected. Of course, Vitality having the overwhelming majority in the first matchup. So far, you guys have been right.
Yeah,
but
we haven't had ties to mess that up.
Yeah, will you be correct in this one? Let's take a look at the community vote to see what you guys voted on. Again, if you go to social media on Twitter, Rainbow6, ESL Rainbow6, then you can check out this this little tidbit that comes out right before every single match, so you guys can vote on it for a couple hours before we start up here. So 70% the way of Millenium, 30%
closer ones
for
we've seen.
Well, which is still not close enough.
No, that's a big majority, but it's still like we've seen a lot of ones where it's in the teens for the other team. So some people are feeling like OrgLess could do it, but I mean, I feel like this should probably be closer to 50-50 because maybe Millenium won the last time, but I think this is still a very strong.
I would have agreed, but with OrgLess making the change, with Aces coming in instead of Veil on their very first match, they play against Millenium that has proved to everyone that they are no team to be trifled with.
And no changes.
And no changes. They have Tapi and Capel who play, use their infinite knowledge of Rainbow Six to coach the team and help them out with the plans. They even have, they actually have a 3-man team over at Millenium to help out with all the strategies and the team management. So, Sparxo being the 3rd person alongside Capel and Tapi.
It seemed to help, though. I mean, the
team
really
it definitely did.
So
they won Austin.
I mean, it's unfortunate to take 3 people to shape this team, but as long as they can stay there, it's worth it.
If anything, Yogurts is very much in shape.
Yeah, he's a very fit man.
A very chiseled man.
Yeah. If only he could show himself to his enemies every round, I think they would be intimidated and easy win.
That is the perfect male body. You may not like it, but it is a fact.
All right, well,
what I love
should be starting soon.
What I love about Millenium, though, Devin, is the videos that they post before their big matches. We started with the whole Ginyu Force knockoff at Austin, and ever since then, it's just always something they're thinking about.
Yeah.
So maybe, if we see a victory for Millenium, we have the possibility of seeing a bit of a crazy thing happening at the end, because remember their interviews at the end. Livin has the best interviews, best one last time. Randomly in the middle of the call,
the baguettes.
Yogurt comes in the back, I believe it was with Rise, and they fight against one another in baguettes, and we could hear our observer laughing on the other side of the studio, because what can you do? It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I wonder how Parker was able to keep his just
Between
keep
that
his
and
composure.
the robot eyes with his headphones the one time, or the multiple times we couldn't hear him.
Oh,
He keeps it lively for sure. I enjoy it.
he lives up to the name. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
I'd like to see a good live in at the interview at the end, but who knows? Maybe if OrgLess win, they'll have a surprise.
I don't know
for
if
us.
many people would like to see KS on the interview.
Well, we have to deal with what we had. Baby,
now
so
calls-
it's still a step up.
Oh yeah, literally anyone could be step up in this one.
Yeah.
We can even have an interview with KS's unicorn carry bag,
There you go.
and it would still be a better interview. Actually, that would be hilarious. Imagine like a Muppet Show style when he's being interviewed. He just controls the unicorn in the back as he's talking.
We are an idea factory that should be shut down.
I am actually 12 and maybe 13 in May, by the way.
Someday you'll be able to play Pro League once you get old enough. So we'll see. But either way, hopefully we'll.
I
get
mean, I
these
could
guys
play
to-
DreamHacks, right? Disrupted it.
Yeah, it's true.
BDG.
Yeah, so that was
Taken down, shot down, Devin.
for anyone who's wondering why Disrupt is not in doing bigger things. They obviously had a lot of underage players, and DreamHack has different rules for that. So it's like I think as long as you have consent from your parent, you're allowed to play, and that was in the bring your own computer section anyways. So
Consent rule is a general thing, not just for the tournament.
The rest of these players are just man-childs, so they are legally able to play, but that's about it.
No.
So, there is that.
We were talking about Shate and Pengu in the past being legally blind by some of the misses that they've done, but they've gone ahead and, much to my heart's content, they've got themselves some new pairs of glasses. So, as an optometrist, second at this point, it pleased me.
Did you get some kind of commission on the glass?
Yes, that's how it works.
That's how it works, right? You sell the glass.
Though it was actually very interesting to see. After Atlantic City was done, it was basically, you always have the exchange of jerseys. So nicely enough, Rafa, the coach for Liquid, was nice enough to give me his jersey with the Internet Hulk memento on it, which means a lot to me as a fan of Internet Hulk. Rest in peace. And Pengu exchanged his jersey with, I think it was Nesk. Because I know Kicks took Sexy Cakes.
It seems appropriate. Pengu and Nesk exchanging jerseys. Seems very appropriate.
So, it was very it was very interesting walking around the hotel at the end of, because Harris Hotel, the location we were at in Atlantic City is absolutely insane. It's pretty much America. Everything's bigger in America. It blows my mind as Middle Easterner / European at this point. But walking around, we're both wearing Team Liquid jerseys, and you see the Team Liquid players that are like, I saw Zig and Sexy Cake. They were pretty proud of it. People were looking around. It's like, wait, Pengu doesn't play on Team Liquid.
Yeah.
And that's when the internet started talking about it. Thankfully,
the googly eyes come out.
Thankfully, Suzaku was not available at that time, so wasn't able to create any memes out of it. But at least, we were saved from that.
Yeah.
It was very fun. Our time in the U.S. was very fun. I was actually very happy to go there. Everybody's really nice.
For now. We'll see. But hopefully we are almost ready to get this game going here, because I am ready to see these guys shoot the heck out of each other on Oregon here, because while we have seen a lot of Oregon, I think with the bans now, I think Oregon's somewhat of a more interesting map in terms of the way people have to play it a little bit differently, because they can't depend on mirror a lot of the time, or we've seen all kinds of operators get banned.
All right.
I think it makes it interesting.
Let's head into game. Ladies and gentlemen, Germany might be out of the World Cup, haha, but they still have a representative in Pro League, where it does matter. All right, and this is the real cup that everybody's looking for. And of course, OrgLess X 1UP. You might be thinking, oh, who are these guys? Well, they used to play under 1UP before.
We've had so many OrgLess teams. I'm just going to start an org called OrgLess, start picking up teams and confuse everyone. And we'll see first ban going to Millenium. Ying off the board. All right, well, sorry, Hungary. You're going to have to go Hungary today, because you cannot play that operator, which is not a big surprise here to see that. We kind of expected there was a high chance of that getting banned. But either way, I'm sure he has other operators he could play. We've actually seen him drop off playing Ying a little bit, but now he's going to have to drop off a whole lot. I imagine he had to prepare for that, though, that he practiced and prepared for. Hey, they're going to ban the operator.
At this point, it's like, if you're playing against OrgLess, you're expecting Ying and Mira.
Yeah.
What are you going to ban? Ying and Mira. Come on. Like, unless you have something super special, like Millenium possibly might have with Renshiro, with the Mira, then, you know, you kind of want to leave that away. Now, since we're playing Oregon, Blackbeard is not as important of an operator, so you won't see the ban coming out from OrgLess. Remind you, it's an ABBA type of ban, so if Millenium starts, then OrgLess gets one ban on attack, and then right after a ban on defense. And so far, Ying, Habana, where OrgLess go for the Mira.
Personally, I would always rather hope that they do it and pick something else more interesting, but you know, they've got their strategies, they've got the coaches, they figure it out.
Oh, no, they will. Wow, OrgLess banning the Mira themselves.
Interesting that they went with banning Habana, though. Now, I mean, OrgLess are starting on attack, too, so they definitely are disabling themselves to an extent. Obviously, they are trying to disable Millenium as well in terms of that defense, but we'll see how the Habana Maestro, there we go. They don't want to have to deal with that, which is not a huge surprise. Maestro been banned quite a bit so
Maestro's a pretty good operator.
Yeah.
I'm not biased at all, but I'm telling you, Maestro is pretty darn good. He's shown that he can combo very well with many operators, and he's shown that if you get creative with the positioning of your evil eyes, like we saw in a previous matchup,
from Penta.
Well, that's something that's going to be very scary. And speaking of scary things, look at those little beady eyes. Is he actually going to do it? I think it's going to be a fake.
I wish it showed like the clown face skin on the picture right there. That one's always fun. When he's running at you, just already a menace. You throw a clown face on it.
Whenever I hear a blitz on the other side of the map, I just run as far away as possible.
Yeah, I try and just go to a different map at that point. Just get out of there. It's unfortunate. We'll see if they want to use any of these 6 picks. The blitz could be a fake, but probably not. I mean,
I don't see a reason to. This is pretty solid. You need the Thermite anyways.
Yeah, you're not going to 6 pick off of the Thermite. That's
but
for sure.
Lion's good. We've seen the Dokkaebi being employed very well by OrgLess. Surprisingly enough, it'll be Aces, the newcomer to OrgLess, that's playing with the Dokkaebi. Now, a bit of a request from anybody watching here. If you can get OrgLess to use literally any other team name as their name instead of OrgLess, I would be very thankful, because
as long as it's not like Soon TM or something.
Yeah, just like, please, because it's absolutely insane that in 2018, in current year, OrgLess and IDK, with the amount of potential that they represent and present to any organization, still are not being fielded by anyone, and they have to resort to crowdfunding as Pro League teams to make it to DreamHack Valencia.
I think get picked up by Biggity Boobop. They haven't had a team in a while. That would be a good one for them.
Was it you and Panky back then?
Yeah, that was year 1. That was the original Continuum, essentially.
Kicks used to play.
Before they were Continuum, they were Biggity Boobop, otherwise known as B3. Sounds like a vitamin more than anything else.
I feel so sorry for you guys having to actually say that.
I tried not to.
That's why you're the analyst.
Yeah. But either way, OrgLess is a very popular team name. We'll see if they can get picked up. Hopefully they present a good showing today, and if so, maybe they will. But then again, you've got I Don't Know who've given a good showing. Wow, that was a nice set of plays there. The Echo disabling them to an extent. Hicks finishing him off. Yogurt's getting another one. Then Rise again. 1 man left. Rips left standing. The first minute of the round.
Are we playing in Latin America? What was that? Millenium just wiped the floor with OrgLess in the very first round.
The lobby of death.
Oh my God.
Like the lobby in Beetlejuice. You just go there to pass on to the next realm.
Oh my God. That was scary. How do you even respond to that? Millenium, first round, they show what they've been preparing for.
Which is shoot everyone the minute they walk in the building, apparently.
Yeah, you think you're playing Pro League? Oh, we're going to give you the time to destroy the hatch and set up. Nah.
That has to be record-setting as one of the fastest rounds we've played.
Actually, that is very possible. Can we have confirmation on that? I know maybe you're listening to me, BK. Please, can you confirm this by the end of the next 2 rounds? Because if not, then I won't get you your new stopwatch. So, a bit of an inside joke there.
All right. Well,
BK's watching.
1/6 pick over to Valkyrie. Gonna happen here. Is baiting out the Elliot. I'm not sure that really does a whole lot, but maybe he saw the Zofia and was like, I don't want to deal with less effective stuns. Either way, it could just be to hide the Valkyrie. But again, situation where you see the IQ and knowingly still pick the Valkyrie. So, you know, to each their own, but they obviously won that first round very effectively. That's a good way to really tilt the heck out of the other team. That puts Millenium at a very strong starting advantage because not only is it a point, but it's also a very decimating point. And they are going to have to switch bomb sites. Of course, they can't play Laundry again, but Dorm's just as good of a site, especially without Mira.
Here's the thing. OrgLess rely on KS keeping his cool, and I know it. Marcio, or Observer, knows it. KS keeping his cool is not a consistent thing, so you got to be careful. If you are able to tilt OrgLess, you can pretty much have them lose the whole thing off of their own mistakes.
Well, we'll see. He is going to be the Thermite, though. He needs to play it cool and play it back. Now, last time he was forced to go inside because, of course, they couldn't use Hibana. Being banned, he had to, you can't just shoot it from the outside, and that was part of the bait there in terms of, oh, they think they've cleared out this room, we'll have the Echo Drone in there to know exactly when they're in, and just close the trap.
You see all the reinforcements that are set up even in Armory and in the bedroom by Millenium? This is to deny really any line of sight that is possibly usable by OrgLess.
What we saw last time, that kind of worked against the defenders.
However, the Armory was not reinforced back then.
That's
and
true.
This is the main difference, is that with the Armory reinforced, the hallway is really completely shut down. This, in my mind, is how you should be doing it.
Well, especially with no Hibana, because then they have to potentially use a Thermite if they want to consider opening up that Armory wall for a sightline, which in this case they're not pushing. There we go.
Oh, Rise with a 2K jump zone out. He lands the first kill, and he's still alive somehow.
Oh, aggressive.
OrgLess are just getting dismantled so far.
Did they have some spicy food before they played this match? Because they are just on it. Very, very aggressive play from Millenium. And it's not even being punished, really. Rise is still alive. And, I mean, yeah, he's low health, but there's more than enough time for a reset.
You know what the thing is? That spot is one of the two quote-unquote para spots. For a lot of the German teams that used to play a lot against OrgLess, they have something called a para run out, which is basically two positions on Oregon. He runs out of them. One's the white stairs window, the second one is the window from school, and he always gets shot or gets blown up by a claymore. I was expecting OrgLess to know more about that, having used it themselves quite a bit, but you know, it doesn't work out.
You don't expect everyone to copy you necessarily.
Nope.
At least they're getting some good utility out of the IQ. You can see, you saw the Echo Drone a little bit. Renshiro moving it around.
Oh, no.
Great flashbang. Someone's a little tilted already. Rips is definitely not going to be feeling it after that. This could be like a Fnatic-like situation where we see them just getting defeated by their own attitude if Millenium keeps this up.
We saw Fnatic doing this on Oregon before. Para missing everything. And, well, at least he'll have Rips helping him out. Interestingly enough, that it's Yogurts now on the Jaeger in this match. Rips with a beautiful shot, but he's down all on his own. All that Millenium have to do is just stay back and wait for him for the kill.
Rips the only one who can seem to stay alive very long in this.
It's just Renshiro just firing down, trying to play the Supernova, the bait against the Lion. As he'll peek in, he'll get the first shot, he gets the second. No, it'll be Levin to clean it up. And in this instant, we had our faithful head admin and community manager, Mr. BK201, so Jan Moreland, running into the studio and showing us on his stopwatch, literally, how long that first round took. It took 50 seconds and 93 milliseconds in round number 1 for Millenium to wipe the floor with OrgLess.
Well, it took them almost the full 3 minutes that time.
Yep.
Tragic. But they are going to have to go tower now, so those two nearly flawless defenses means we could see a little bit of weakness here. But tower is still somewhat defensible, but this is definitely going to be finally some kind of slight advantage for OrgLess to capitalize on. And if they cannot win this round, if I were them, I would consider just taking a long nap at that point because they are just so far behind. I mean, this is looking a little Cloud9-ish here. They are going to last minute switch from Capitao to IQ.
C9 lol. Right?
Unfortunate.
Is that what we say now?
I don't know what we say yet because it's only been one match. Give it some time, but either way, that was not the greatest start. But they have 13 more to make up for it. Capitao to IQ is an interesting choice. Not sure what the Capitao was really going to do in the first place, but IQ definitely going to be a bit more useful, although they need to stay alive a little bit longer this time. It seems like Rip's the only one who can stay alive past, say, the first minute and a half, as most of his team is falling before that. I mean, that's typical for Lion to play it back, but the Thermite dying early has not been great at all. We'll see if KS can stay alive a little bit longer this time. There are definitely some different ways you can use the Thermite on the site. There's not necessarily a predefined way. Let's say he could blow open that kitchen wall to help take meeting. We saw previously blowing up a few different walls to get some angles in as well. Blowing up the wall going from the meeting hall towards school, as well as the one leading towards the tower itself. So there are quite a few ways you can use it, but there's mute jammers on most of those, and there's no Thatcher to be able to take those out, so they are going to have to deal a little bit manually with those. I mean, they have some grenades on Para, but that's the only one really. I mean, you could try and lob Sophia's in, which is a little bit trickier through a drone hole, but
yeah, you can still bounce it right at the first half of the drone hole, and then try to bounce it before it hits the top side of the drone hole.
So worth it.
No, it is a very.
It's those lips that really make it hard. The lips on the drone holes definitely can. Oh,
what are you doing, Hicks?
There we go. Finally, a nice freebie for Aces, the new guy, getting something going here. Speaking of drone holes, unfortunately the mute jammer is stopping not only Thermite from opening any walls, but also stopping those drones from getting more intel through that drone hole. They are not necessarily sure if meeting hall is clear, but face checking down here doesn't seem like the best idea for Para. Not going to get punished for it just yet, but you know, with how they've been playing, face checking is a poor idea.
Oh, yes.
They need to be droning.
Especially when you have to deal with the defense really centered around tower, because you know what, you have to go and attack there.
Yeah, you'd think they might have someone playing downstairs just to be able to rotate back up, so it's risky to be doing this. They are at least using a drone now, so Para only stopping at the halfway mark to do it.
I'm surprised that there's no Rook or a similar operator to play for Millenium, as historically speaking, it's an operator that they've been, you know, famous to play on. But with the way that they have reinforced the your attic, it basically doesn't really give a line of sight for the ACOG to play against with.
I mean,
you know what? You got the ACOG. That's pretty good on the Echo. You can have the double yokais. That's already pretty darn good to have.
I like the use of the double hatch, but he's not getting anything out of it, and he's spending so much time not really clearing a whole lot, and doesn't see that Rise's drone is there because, well, it's invisible for the most part.
Grenade lobbed in the back. Won't connect, as they might have been expecting somebody in the back of the stage. In the case, Yogurts will open things up, and there you go. The yokai will get spotted. Unfortunately, that's one lost, and Para has not been taken out. Very quick peeks from Yogurts, as a bit of damage will get done Para, but Rips frag on Levin. This means that Yogurts will have to fall back. He puts a goo mine downstairs as he rotates around, and it'll get pushed by the Zofia. The second yokai drone is so far away. I think it'll get taken down there. The Smoke's unfortunately playing against OrgLess, as Millenium are hiding in it as Hungry goes in. Photo diffuser plant. Para playing on the stairs. They'll get the spot on Renshiro, take him out. That's the second one for Rise, and Yogurts will be the last one to go. Unfortunately, this is how you should be playing tower as the team on the defense. The instant that the attack take control of the tower, or have at least the bottom side of it to plant from the stage, it's pretty much over for you.
Yeah.
So you have to make sure that they don't get there. So holding the bedrooms, holding any
they gave up
rotation
like
position.
75% of the map. Pretty much.
They give up the whole bottom side of it.
Yeah.
It wasn't contested until the very end by Yogurts.
Yeah, and that
the
was
IQ just ran in.
So much different than the previous rounds. They didn't give up anywhere near that much map control the previous two rounds, and it paid off for them. That round it showed if you give OrgLess an inch, they'll take a mile. You need to make sure you take as much map control and don't concede it early as possible, and then you win. But as I said, that was the easiest bomb site for them to attack, so that is not the biggest victory, but at least it's one. It's going to be something to just buoy their spirits a little bit, at least.
Especially after the first two humiliating rounds. Seems like OrgLess might just be stabilizing and bringing it back. Again, Millenium has had a lot more competitive play within the past month or so, whereas here, OrgLess has not had a ton. You see the Jaeger picked up for Yogurts yet again. I'm surprised why he's not being the man on the leash.
I guess deciding to give Hicks a try on it. Maybe he's been feeling more comfortable on Jaeger and wants to play a different role. we've seen a lot of teams switch up a lot of roles this season. I'd say probably the one that switched up the most is Evil Geniuses. Has made a lot of switch ups that seem a little odd, but they're trying different strategies out with a different IGL of BC. So could be a similar situation here. Not sure who the current IGL is, but they could be trying things out differently. I believe it was it Liven? I think it was Liven. Yeah.
He is the IGL.
Probably still is, yeah. I mean, he's done a fantastic job of it. No reason to change it. Renshiro's been doing a pretty good job on those Echo drones for the most part. Did lose both of them last round, I believe, but overall doing a pretty good job positioning them in good spots. It just happened they cut them out.
Yeah, they were trying to push the IQ away downstairs. However, Yogurts was not fast enough on the Legion.
That's the hardest person to push off because he's the one person who can see it. But they are getting more map control again, so giving up OrgLess, or giving to OrgLess, at least the west side, to an extent up to Kitchen is paying off. If they can take Kitchen, this will be a much better round for OrgLess. If they cannot take Kitchen and Yogurts is able to get a kill or two here, I think that will bode poorly for them. Obviously, they're not running into lobby this time and all dying, so that's a good change for OrgLess, who pretty much did that last time on this attack.
Close angle held by Aces to contest the Kitchen. You see both the Legion and the Jaeger that are playing in the back. It's a pretty sweet pixel angle, actually. But Rips will come in. See, even the top floor has been held by Para, so they can potentially play from above. But they have to deal with the Ella that's set in the bathroom as well. Aces will go for the call, and they'll hear the positions of everybody. Use the E1D at the same time. They'll get the spot on those Legion Gumais, and they'll rush right into one. Well, Hicks will refrag. At least one player on the floor. They haven't been able to finish off Yogurts. Try to scurry away. Now Hungry peeking in as Rips will get the kill on Hicks. Runs on in, and Rips will still make it happen. He rips through Millenium with still little health left. More than enough, apparently, for him to get things done. Renshiro, last man alive, as Rips with the 3K. Beautiful play from him here. Try to peek in, but Para from above already taking control. I think Millenium turned around and just gave most of the map to OrgLess, just like we saw the previous game. And you mentioned that, Devin.
Yeah, I think that's been the game changer. I mean, obviously, the previous time, like I said, they attacked from the lobby, and that was a huge mistake they didn't repeat. And that's a big difference there, is they didn't push into the one area that was very highly contested by Millenium, with kind of having a trap all around it. In this case, they were able to take control of most of the west side. I gotta admit, though, that was a tough fight in the kitchen. It was definitely down to Rips just ripping it up, just tearing through them as quick as he could. That drum mag doing its good job.
Rip and tear.
Absolutely.
That's a pretty good theme, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I definitely like the utility that drum mag brings into situations like that, especially someone so comfortable playing it.
It's 308, does a ton of damage. You can spray through the wall because both walls were left soft in the bathroom, one of them being open for potential rotations that peeks directly into the kitchen, or maybe the Zofia had opened that, but still. Penetrative power of the 308 definitely does a ton of damage, and when you're expecting somebody to peek you from the bathroom, pushing at the same time as the Zofia on the other side of the hallway, works out pretty well for Rips. Lands the 3K for OrgLess as they tie it back.
Wow, 9 for Rips.
Yeah.
He's already got like almost 3 times the rest of his team combined.
I'm surprised Chaos has any kills, but still, he's second on the board here for OrgLess.
Fortunately, Hungry without his Ying is at the old 0. But he's doing an okay job with the Zofia in terms of supporting. I did really like that crossfire that Millenium had set up last time, though, with the bathroom, in terms of the way they were playing that. Even with the Dokkaebi and the line going off, we're still able to get that kill. So it was a good, effective crossfire. I imagine that might not work a second time, where if we do get to a second time, in the sense that obviously they're playing Laundry again right now, and they have 1 more defensive round left. No, I'm sorry, this is the last defensive round.
Yeah, this is
so there
round
will not be
5.
another chance, So never mind, they will not have another chance to use that same defensive setup outside of this round. But like I said, I don't think they'll fall for it a second time. They would potentially push bathroom at the same time. That's where someone like Zofia is extra helpful, though, because you can hit those concussion grenades right into the room, go in storming, and especially with that line of Dokkaebi going off at the same time as you push kitchen, definitely would be an effective strategy. So I wouldn't imagine Millenium would even try that same defense again, but I did like the concept.
All right, well, you heard 1 yokai charge going off as Renshiro will relocate. bit of a safer position here, just in case the IQ is looking for a pick on the yokai. He still has a second one in his back pocket. So, first kill will go the way of OrgLess.
Well, that's
the lesion.
Down. Yeah, that's an important early kill, is that someone, as we've said many times, gets stronger throughout the round, whereas most other operators do not. So good early kill. I'm not sure either if they know that there is a smoke, because that was a 6th pick, and that could be something a bit of a surprise, is they're more busy dealing with the echo, and that vigil as well is going to be a little bit of a problem for them. So may not be able to even catch that they're going to have to deal with smoke when they actually go for the plant push. And that could be a big problem for them if they don't prepare for it.
Oh, he'll get the spot in the back, as you saw the ERC7, if I'm not mistaken, on the vigil was activated, and they did spot him moving through the hallway. Aces will go back up through the white stairs, try and see if there's anybody for him to contest. We'll spot the vigil behind the unreinforced wall. The Yogurts, the Yogurts on Jaeger.
They have a decent amount of map control here. They have control of bunks right now. This is not looking great for Millenium, who are also down a man. 2 grenades left as one goes out. If he can make either of these land, that's going to be a big problem.
It's a long fuse on the grenade, that's for sure. Unable to bounce it all the way back. Finally, the hallway camera has been taken out, and Paris still has to contest the Jaeger.
Jogger?
Depends. I think in German it's Jager. Yeah, Jager.
Okay. There goes KS, though.
Very nicely done by Renshiro. Hungary will refrag. We'll remind you that they're trying to push downstairs in Laundry. And Millenium have 3 players left alive, as OrgLess are just running around trying to get any potential picks. Almost even taking on their own teammates. They'll have to play. And look at the 2 players that are trying to rush up here to Para. But he's holding the stairs perfectly. As I say, that Rise will get the kill. Does not have an impact grenade, but somehow Livin makes it happen. 2 players left for OrgLess versus the 3 of Millenium as they come into face. Rips, he goes down. Do they spot the last one? Not just yet. There we go. Hungry turning around. He'll get 1 kill. Now 2 left alive. And there we go. He'll go down. Yogurts with a beautiful play at the end to make things work for the defenders as he gets the final kill. And Livin at the same time. Just not forget, the fuser is the thing to go for. And even though it's hidden by the Thermite's body, seems like it's much easier for them to find than when they're playing Coastline. So there you go. 3 rounds for Millenium. As we switch around, we say good half, because yes, it is a half. You play 5 rounds attack, 5 round defense. And round number 6, you switch it up. And we go into Tower for OrgLess's first round.
Might as well get it over with now. But that last round, it
was all in the hands of OrgLess.
It absolutely was a throw on their part in terms of fighting fights they didn't need to fight and losing every single one of them. They had the diffuser planted. The defenders were trapped upstairs, and you're trying to fight them on those stairs?
Just leave them.
Just, yeah, go
Have
downstairs.
meeting hall, they controlled garage.
Yeah, control meeting hall, control school, control downstairs with your 3 people left. Let them walk into you. I mean, they did let them walk into him in some positions and still lost those fights. It was just, I mean, again, it was their fight to lose, and they absolutely lost it.
Unfortunately for OrgLess. But, well, we'll see how they fare on the tower defense, as Millenium, when they picked this this site, it didn't really fare too well for them.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, is Millenium did a 6th pick over to IQ from Thatcher, but they can't have really anticipated necessarily that this was going to be the bomb site. So let's hope for their sake that they are prepared to attack this without a Thatcher and make it work. There is a bandit, there is no mute, but they could definitely deny the wall coming from the dorm side into the attic. It looks like they opened up, at least the one side is open on the tower side. But if they deny the other side, which they should do, I think they should reinforce the walls leading into dorms, battery them, and make sure it's much harder for them to get in there so that they can't flank around. But and then just control meeting hall as much as possible and attic. We'll see, though, how they play it in terms of, we saw some good attack on it last time from the OrgLess guys in terms of getting that plant down in this bomb site and how easy that was for them to do once they had a bit more map control.
The interesting thing is that OrgLess are not bringing an Echo, which is something that Millenium did opt for when they were playing Tower.
I think it was a good choice, but at the same time, it didn't really work out.
Yeah, they weren't really using the fact that he's so much stronger now, Echo. Can use 2 yokais to his advantage. One that stays on site, the second one that plays around with the with the roamers. The most important part of that whole attack, in my eyes, though, for OrgLess when they were pushing it, was the fact that Para went down on the IQ and took control of the one place that was really required for Millenium to hold, which is downstairs in laundry. You let that go, you basically confine yourself to the tower, and unless you get really lucky, you're not going to be able to win that. You're basically just fish in a barrel.
Half the time we see those won just by jump outs, getting lucky and good timing. But they are at least taking control of the dorm side. There was a little bit of a late reinforcement. You saw there was a hole there before on the dorm side of the wall, and they reinforced over it. And they are going to play it like I was saying with the battery. However, this is where they have to worry about grenades. Thankfully, KS did his job as Jaeger and is going to stop some of those grenades. Unfortunately, only 2 of them, as he only committed 1 ADS from the looks of it. Unfortunately, that would have probably been worth 2 just to help deny this a bit more. But 2 batteries to spare. It comes right back up for the recharge. And this is not something they're going to be anticipating.
Oh, no.
But he doesn't bandit trick it. He abandons the second battery attempt, and that's going to give Thermite what he needs to open it. Unfortunate for the Aces.
Well, Rise will at least set it up, and that'll be the wall opened, so they can look through, but already seen the Bandit run all the way back. The positive point, though, there's so much time that's been expended. However, this is what we're talking about before with Tower. You need to deny your opponents taking control of the of everything around the tower for as long as possible, because once you do lose it, it turns very, very bad. Aces with a great shot here to take down one. Hungary will get spotted and taken out by Renshiro, forgetting that all he's got to do is stand still. The Thermite's still on the floor, but he'll get picked up.
Nice
this is a huge shot here for Para. He'll get the headshot on Renshiro. And Aces playing up close in the meeting hall, as they still have not pushed him away. If anything is to fault Millenium for, it's just not controlling the meeting hall. The Dokkaebi runs right in, gets shot down with the MP7. I'll try to contest as Rise gets 1. They all go in for a flurry of kills with 2 left alive. The diffuser is not yet on the floor, but KS will have to rotate back a bit too slow. Can the Thermite stick it? Yes, he will. Millenium will get the diffuser down. KS, last man, well, he'll be the last man on the site, but he'll wait for Rips to come back in. Rise, half health. Is he with a Thermite that was picked up after he was dropped on the floor, and they'll have to deal with him. They don't really have the information where he's at. Got to really expose yourself to make this one happen. And you know there might be a run out to go against them, spraying right into the Thermite. No damage will be done, as it was right on body. Rise will get 1, he'll get 2, and Rise will clutch the round for Millenium on the Thermite. Even if he was down on the floor, Rise will still rise to the occasion, as Millenium will take the round and put themselves up 4-2. Head into round number 7. Must be devastating for OrgLess.
Yeah, and that is Tower now 0 for 2, as both times the plant has gotten down very well, and that is why no one wanted to play Tower before, is the difficulty. And that is a situation where a jump out would have been appropriate.
I'm surprised we aren't really seeing Kitchen, because you can hold it from above. And, well, you know, Mira is very important for it, and Mira's banned, as you can tell, but it's definitely a site that has seen more success than Tower.
Yeah, the big problem, of course, is that blowing the wall from the small tower and being able to plant in that corner where the couch is so strong. And there's no like real vertical play outside of trying to push the top of that small tower. And of course you get marked if you try and run across. So it's just the lack of flank potential.
Yokais.
Yeah, I mean you have
to hold from the top floor.
You have to depend on Evil Eyes and Yokais, and yeah, if you can hold from the top floor to an extent, but you cannot control small tower for very long. It's not like big tower where you have that extra like third T3 as they call it at the top. Because of that, because of the lack of flank potential, there's no retake strategies because the west side is so isolated. It is a difficult one, and I can see why teams have struggled to find a good strategy. I think a good strategy on that is going to depend on a very good ban phase for operators.
Yep.
Is the only way you're going to make that something viable for you. But we'll see. This is the beginning of the season, and the beginning of them having to play that. It'll be like Bathroom Tellers, right, where a team like Millenium will come out, or Vitality will come out with a strategy, and all of a sudden all the other teams will be like, okay, that's actually playable.
Yep, and then everybody keeps doing it.
Yep.
And at some point, it doesn't work out, just as we're praising it for being so good, right?
Of course. But
Typical.
we'll see how long the rest of this match goes at this point, because already 4-2. We saw every single time we've seen a 4-2 that turns into a win for the team that's at the 4-2, because going back and forth at best gets you to a situation where they lose, and even getting a good series of rounds often at most leads to a tie. So it is definitely a huge advantage, Millenium, especially after those first 2 rounds, which gave them this 2-point lead. So OrgLess have made a decent comeback, though, I gotta admit. They did manage to win quite a few rounds, on 2 rounds in this case, after those 2 initial horrible losses. Now they are trying to take the tower as best they can, but I like the angles from Aces here trying to defend that. But Lion does spot him, and they now have control of what I was just talking about, T3.
Oh no, Aces will get spotted and taken down by Rise. Rise just, he cannot get enough. Insatiable man here as he gets the Ella removed from play. Yet again, playing on the Thermite. Live and take control of the top, and there you go. He won't be down, which we've seen too much of.
Yeah, it's either jump on the beam or jump on the ladder. But yeah, Rise has been doing a fantastic job on that Thermite, trying to compete a little bit with Goga. Rips, though, has been the one to live for quite a while here. He's actually going to be on that Legion that matters more if he lives just like the Lion. So I'm glad he's playing it more passive on the roles that he's been given. I hope Hungry does the same on the Smoke so they can stay alive long enough to at least try and deny the plant. But again, this is coming down to a lot of fights outside of the bomb site for quite a while. Like, we've seen a lot of long top floor fights before even trying to plant in Laundry. So it's down to roam clears being very slow for both teams.
Yogurt's just going to hold this angle forever. It's like, you know what? You want to rotate out?
They have man advantage.
Yep.
He can. They still can hold it, and then if they keep them here, then man advantage still works in their favor.
There you go.
There you go. Pulling a Vitality and just holding an angle for 2 minutes. It worked, and that's Rip, who I was just mentioning, usually lives longer, and that is an important play off the board. I mean, it's not as good as taking down Hungry, perhaps, but in this case, obviously, Hungry's not going to be hanging out upstairs. This is not Latin America.
No. You see the angle that's been previously opened up by the defense. As I'm a big fan of just opening that entirety of the lower side, just because you can just shoot through people's legs if you want to.
Always fun. Ooh, the ADS doing its job.
Go flashes will get thrown in, burning off as much of the ADS as possible. I think that was all of them now banned. That'll stop for the grenade throw, but KS will still get a kill on Livin as Renshiro jumps in with the IQ. The shot's going right the way of Paris. KS gets the second one on Hicks. Somehow Millenium losing their advantage as 2 more kills will go the way of OrgLess. Rise last man alive, and can he get the second one with under 10 seconds? No, he cannot. Hungry, with the best smokes in Europe, peeks up, gets the shot on Rise, and OrgLess finally take the round. It really is a huge morale boost for a German team.
Yeah. It was down to a lot of time, like I said, spent so much time upstairs clearing the top floor and getting the roam clear that when it came down to fighting downstairs, it was a pretty one-dimensional fight to... I mean, KS obviously getting those 2 frags helped a lot, and then it was down to them just defending that site against Thermite. But it was, again, too much time spent elsewhere, left them little ability to pinch effectively and try and put some serious pressure on the site or even go for a plant. And a tower attack is sometimes better earlier rather than that late into a round, because you're pressuring a situation where, like you saw, they're forced through the one doorway, they can't contest hallway very effectively, and they're not set up to, say, drop the hatch on the corner of the hallway. You're going to see Para go off that vigil and actually go to a mute. Interesting choice there. We'll see if that works out for them. Rip's going to be back on the Legion and Hungry on the Smoke again. No 6th picks coming out from Millenium.
Surprised that we didn't see even an Echo in the previous round. We're playing downstairs, hyping up Echo so much because of the current changes.
Yeah, OrgLess just not that interested in playing it, and I mean, who knows? I don't remember if Vale might have been the one to play it, who's been, you know, switched out, or it's just a case they're not really interested in using it. I still think it's absolutely worth using. You saw a great play on it from Millenium. I think shows again why it should be used, and you know, Maestro being banned as well means like even more reason to use Echo. It is definitely much slower rounds, as we've noticed, whenever there's a Thermite and no Hibana in terms of attack rounds. And I think it's really slowing down a lot of these pushes, especially on the Laundry. But at the end of the day, just coming down to gunfights. very few plants outside of planting and tower. Dorms, however, different beast than laundry, and this is where they've spent most of their time anyways, is fighting upstairs. If they give west side control again to I guess, in this case it would be OrgLess holding the west side, and Millenium being in a tough spot where they're trying to push from the lobby, we could see kind of the reverse of what we saw in the early rounds with OrgLess trying to attack. Because Millenium were the ones that were kind of not holding this particular bomb site all that well in terms of map control. But it looks like they are going for a take on to master bedroom. I mean, that's a good use of that thermite. Yeah, but they don't have a Thatcher.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to try and push through. But a substitute to having the Thatcher is to take control of the bottom floor, and then from there take down the batteries.
Well, with IQ, it makes it a little bit easier, obviously. And that's exactly what you're going to do.
There you go. This one battery spotted and taken out, and here's number two.
Easy peasy.
Pretty good accounting here, Devin. That's 2 players taken out, and we saw you only really need 1.
I'm glad you got 5 fingers. You can get so high.
It's a good thing there's no camera on us so once we head into game, right? That would have been very awkward. But at least that's the first thermite charge that'll get used, and that'll open up an extra bit of line of sight from the armory. The second one here is in for Rise. He'll have to go through and just open up. There you go. He goes in. They know that there's a bandit below. Oh, no.
That was his only other thermite. So that is a complete non-starter. Millenium now shut down. They're going to have to go for gunfights and put pressure on the dorm side.
How come they did not put the IQ still below on the school just in case?
Well, it was a case of just too little too late hindsight, I guess. They weren't thinking that it was going to be a bandit trick, but, I mean, you've got 2 spare batteries. There's no
yogurts as well contesting from really anywhere in the ash to make sure that does not come out. Honestly, that whole thing, a bit of a blunder. We're 50 seconds left on the clock, and there's pretty much the hallway and the couple windows just to push in. And honestly, not one of these options are really viable. Rips will drop down. Not sure if completely warranted. That jump will have to fall back, maybe play again. There we go from the tower. Not sure if that that fall was really planned. Just seeing how.
I mean, it definitely gave him a chance to shut off his phone without being pressured in there. So I think it was probably the right choice for the most part, as long as he doesn't need to be up there. This flank here, however, potentially could be stopped by the Ash holding an angle again. Ooh, just barely spotted for a second. And KS starting things off with the first kill with 12 seconds left.
Hicks, though, with the refrag. Aces will get taken down. KS yet again putting the team on his back, but somehow the attacker is able to go in for the diffuser plant. Hicks will get 1 to turn it into a 3v2, but still 3 players alive for OrgLess with full health. We'll have to deal with Rise and Hicks. And you talked about the drum mag that Lion brings. That's a lot of potential damage. Flashbangs can get thrown in as now they'll set up for the drone. There's the mute jammer that's helping the defenders, but Para is not able to contest the diffuser. He's got 2 angles to worry about. They go in with a jump out, the 1v1 here, as Rips will get the last one. Does he have enough time? Well, Hungry is already on the diffuser, and the round will go the way of OrgLess to tie it 4-4. Defender mission successful. The manpower at the end was all for OrgLess, and that's how they're able to sacrifice 1 player to just jump out the window and then only have to contest, realistically, the thermite that was low on health.
Yeah, and I mean, I got to credit some of that to Bandit. Stopping that push from Master Bedroom made it so they had to improvise a bit, which cost them a little bit in manpower. I mean, at the end of the day, though, it still did come down to gunfights, and as you mentioned, the man advantage, some of that due to KS being the one with the opening kill for OrgLess. But that actually brings us not only to a tie, but also to Tower again, which, as I mentioned earlier, is 0-2. So this could be the chance for one of these teams to end up at 5, and I'm thinking it's probably going to be Millenium, based off things have gone so far, unless they've got a good adaptation here. The castle might be something that helps in terms of at least slowing down the control of Beating Hall, but that doesn't necessarily matter too much. I mean, maybe you could use it as well on some of the windows just to stop some of that pressure. We did see some good contesting of the windows, though, from the defenders, but also some good kills from it. So there's that one window facing out towards the dining door, which seems to have been a big problem for both these teams.
Well, there you go. Mr. Thatcher will be the 6th pick
How exciting.
Coming out from Millenium. I think they realized from the previous round that, having the IQ is great. Having the Thatcher to just not even need to worry about it is fine as well. LED 5, great gun. Great gun. You get a lot of utility as well from the Thatcher. There's not really many downsides to bringing him, especially when you don't really need, you don't need 2 hard destructors, etc.
Well, the thing I like about it is it gives the opportunity for the IQ to spot the ADSs, clear them out with the Thatcher first, because ADSs are a lot of the defense of the top side of the tower to make sure that you don't get flushed out of there.
Very good point.
And now, obviously, they only have 2 grenades from Renshiro, but if Renshiro knows how to use them well, they can take control of T3 pretty easily just by using Thatcher, perhaps not even on the roof. Can bounce through, because the blast radius is decent enough. But I think it would be difficult to try and hold that top part of the floor. Once that falls, as long as you put pressure from the sides, as we saw as well from that little crack, it's difficult to hold. And it's going to come down to some very smart flanks from the defenders. Unfortunately, it looks like they used one of their castle barricades here, which is not really going to do much for them.
I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, so they set one on the entrance of meeting hall. That's fine.
That's expected.
Millenium are sacrificing having the Zofia to bring in the Thatcher. I wonder if there's breaching charges that are set up for the team, because it definitely would get easier if you're contesting meeting.
Thatcher will be usually bringing those. In this case, though, he's bringing a Claymore, so that is unfortunate that they are not going to go with the breaching charges. We've seen a lot of Thatchers with breaching charges earlier, so that is definitely... I mean, he's already set up the Claymore, so he's obviously getting use out of it, and they have gotten some use out of taking out those batteries with the Thatcher, but now they're going to have to count on Thermite to open this wall, and there is going to be the Bandit right there. You can see on the other side of the wall able to trick it, so they're going to have to time this right with the Thatcher to make sure that he cannot stop that Thermite, because he only gets 2 charges to try, something we've seen a little bit so far.
Got to be careful with this and not losing second charge. Well, Aces will drop below.
Oh, no.
Do they hear that that was the last Bandit battery?
Yeah, that was...
They can't open this.
Well, either way, they are delayed a little bit, but they are making their phone calls.
So with the phone calls, they can make sure that there's nobody behind the wall here, but the first kill will go the way of Hicks, as Millenium, they're doing unto OrgLess what OrgLess has done unto them, and they will go all the way down, taking control of Laundry, and they'll contest to get the first kill on the castle. Bit of an expendable operator, but hey, it's definitely a loss.
There's that shotgun right against the window. Yogurts cannot go in here. SAS versus SAS. See who has the most sass trying to get into that window. That's what I was talking about. T3, a hard one to contest.
It's all tactical, mate. There you go.
Cool.
Renshiro still get the kill on KS, eliminating the Jaeger. It's been so important before, but they run into Para. Well, he runs into them. So get the kill. Last of the canisters have been taken away. Hungry has used all of them. We're at 32 seconds left on the clock. Damage done to Para, but Livin will jump on down. Can they contest? One player above at T3. As you mentioned before, you see all gas canisters fading away.
If they can't take him out, it's going to be hard to stick a plan.
There you go. E1D will get used. 15 seconds left on the clock. They rush in, and Para's ready for him. He'll get kill number 1. He switches over to the Deagle. This now is only a 3v3, but no, they'll miss with the shotgun. 6 seconds left on the clock. Aspera's still alive. He'll run on up. He'll get taken down by Yogurts, who's still in control of the top. Aces will try to rotate through, but he's already spotted, and Millenium will get the round. Number 9 will go their way, which means 5 on the board. They guarantee a 1 point. 1 point at the end of the day.
At least now they can go to Laundry, which gives them a chance to tie this up here. So
yep.
Millenium at least guaranteed a tie at the minimum, if not a win if they can win this round. I do think there's a good chance, given the success of their Laundry defense before, that we could see them potentially tie this up here, which would be interesting first tie for EU.
Here's the thing. OrgLess, when they defended Laundry in that first round, coming back, Millenium just completely got shut down. So I wonder what the major change would be.
Push downstairs earlier would be my hope. They've got the Blackbeard. They could go for the old
I would stick
Blackbeard
this
downstairs.
full lineup.
Yeah. I think this is a very aggressive lineup that will work for them. Obviously, they're doing a lot of phone call Lion combos here that are trying to help with that. And that will help get the Vigil as well. Because, again, clearing the top floor has been the slowest part of this for them.
Glass.
Oh, well, there we go.
Renshiro playing the glass. It's not a usual thing, but he's pretty good on DMRs, right? SR25 might not have Yeah, well, the OTS-03 does not have the same rate of fire as the SR-25. SR having a bit higher.
Although at the moment, I don't know.
Yeah, with the 50 bump, because it was supposed to be 15 and it turned into 50.
I feel like it's like 5 million at this point. That thing is just like belt.
It's a buzzsaw.
Seriously. But, I mean, I think if you're going for a smoke push down the stairs, that used to be Blackbeard's thing back when his face was basically invincible. And now Glaz has pretty much got that designated role for the most part and is very effective at it. With no Mira in play, that wall is even less effective for defending because, let's say Smoke tries to play it, he has to play it by throwing over a hole. And you can open up a few holes as Glaz yourself to be able to see that little yellow if he's trying to even hide underneath it and throw it with a crouch. So it becomes very difficult to defend against the Glaz push on that side. I mean, there are some effective Glaz pushes from tower side as well. But I feel like...
reinforce it?
What's that?
Because, oh yeah, he just stopped reinforcing. Because he was reinforcing the hatch, first one. Anyways, I'm very sorry.
That's the hatch that's important to reinforce too, but I guess they decided they wanted that wall more. Once you can drop down that corner, it is definitely a bad spot to leave available to the attackers.
But I'm sorry to cut you off, please, Devin.
Yeah, no, it's... I mean, they could go with either push. They are droning the tower side, which makes me think they could go for a tower push. But I do, again, think without the mirror, it's that much more effective for Rinchir pushing Laundry. And we saw their tower push last time failed. So, I don't know. I mean, they have the ability to do that without doing as much roam clear, as long as they can control Meeting Hall and the Armory stairs, for the most part. I mean, yeah, people can rotate over from the kitchen side, but that doesn't always happen that late into the round. Ooh, nice little peek there from Glaz.
Saw that Rinchir on knees, really, just a pixel. KS will rotate back down. Yogurt's holding right in the tower just to make sure nobody goes up from Meeting Hall. He can come in and take control of Meeting Hall himself. Need to drone in and make sure that there is nobody in the attic. Para will get called here by Ms. Dokubi. Of course, Livin playing the operator here. See everything being bandit battery. This might turn into a push from the tower.
Yeah, they definitely tower push here.
Yeah, they need control of the hatches and Meeting Hall completely.
Well, at least they can open up that tower hatch, get some nice angles down because they didn't, or not tower hatch, but the corner hatch, because they didn't reinforce it. I mean, there's no hope, honestly. Would it have to use the thermite to do that?
They might try to go for a two-prong push here from the tower and the construction site. Of course, with the thermite still having a charge, if anything's reinforced, there we go. That's exactly what they're going to do. I'm not sure if wall has been reinforced. No, it has not. So easy play here for the Ash. Just opens up the sidewall. And Livin and Yogurts will try to move through that side, whilst the rest of Millennium make it through the other. OrgLess rotating back on the site. However, there's two players that are so far back that they might not really be of any effect in this matchup. Smokes will get thrown in. They'll delay Millennium for just a bit as we hit the 30-second mark. Oh, Rinchir almost getting the shot there, but a bit too tunnel visioned as he inhales just a bit of the gas. We'll have to fight against the stage here, as you'll see Para jumping in from the side. Goes into Meeting Hall. 1 kill, 2 kills going the way of Millennium, but only one will get retraded. Para jumps right into the line of fire. Zrogerts is ready for him, and Rise will get the other with the thermite. Jaeger of KS will land one, but he still needs to get some more. One more left alive, and KS will clutch it. Niklas, are you kidding me? 5-5 means that this is in full equilibrium. OrgLess tie it up. And this ends in a draw, 1 point for each team.
That was definitely close. That's the second time now we've seen KS as Jaeger downstairs in the B site, holding his own. Him and Rips doing a fantastic job.
And, you know, I'm not surprised. These two teams were very close and equal in the past, and Oregon definitely has shown that it is the case almost no matter the site, except for Kitchen. That was not played at all. Though, because this is a draw, on